Did you know that it takes exactly 7 seconds to make a first impression on anyone? Then combine this with the fact that nothing feels natural about interviews. And this is because an interview in itself is an evaluation process that determines whether your salary bracket is going to change for the better or not. 7 seconds is rarely enough in such anxiety packed situations to give a good first impression. So, in this video, I'm going to share with you body language tricks and tips that are going to help you sail through an elevation or promotion interview in particular. And the end game here is for you to be effortlessly ushered into a higher salary bracket. These are seasons that I've gone through, and as fate would have it, they happen to be the reason why I do what I do today. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nancy, and if you're meeting for the very first time, kindly consider subscribing and pressing the bell, because this is where I discuss topics on matters leadership, professional growth, and career advancement. So if it's the kind of content that speaks to you, consider subscribing and you'll be notified whenever a new video comes along. Experiencing anxiety during an interview is common, and it often manifests through various forms of body language. Just a quick backstory. I believe it's almost 15 years back. I had applied for a job that I knew I did not qualify for, and I did not have the requirements, starting with the minimum number of years that you had to have served in the company to be considered. I used to work as an airline professional before finally relocating to France. So he's a close friend of mine who dared me to apply, even when she knew the odds that were standing against me. And I did. I was sure no one was going to call me unless just to reprimand me. So fast forward, I'm in Amsterdam on duty. Then a text comes through that I have been scheduled for an interview on the day I get back to base. I took it so lightly. There had to be a mix-up, but I decided to show up as a way of, common courtesy. It was not a joke. There was no mix-up. My time slot was there with my name. So the wake-up call came when I arrived at base to find everybody formally dressed, looking sharp, and I was here with my smart casual wear, totally unprepared, having not given it the seriousness that it deserved. The clenched jaw, the tension in my face, all this was giving me away, and you could literally smell my anxiety from so many feet. This is an environment where everybody is your competitor, everybody is your competition, and you just had to look around and see who was eliminating you mentally. I had it, and someone literally asking me questions that I was asking myself. Are we here for the same interview? The imposter syndrome checked in. And before I knew it, I was sweating, I was shaking, I was fidgeting uncontrollably, I was panicking. And I remember just pulling myself aside to have a very clear grasp of what I had gotten myself into. Leaving was not an option. I was here already. So the first thing I did was to just disqualify myself from the interview mentally, looking at all the loose ends that, I had not addressed. And I remember having that conversation with self and saying, this time I'm going to benefit from this experience and prepare myself properly for the next time. So I relaxed. And then my name was called, and going in, I completely avoided eye contact. My confidence was clearly diluted. I was no longer sure of the expressions and the rigidity on my face. I could literally feel the surprise even in the panelists' faces. So I headed straight for the vacant seat. Nobody invited me to take that seat. These are the nerves that were talking. And then the shaking, the fidgeting all came back, and it was feeling like the air was becoming too suffocated for me. And I remember one of the interviewers just seeing my struggle and asking me, Nancy, why are you so nervous? Well, there are places where you can act bold and strategic, but at this point in time, I felt like what they needed from me was honesty. So in my own words, I just said, if this interview was not as important to me, I would not be this nervous, but I'm going to do my best. Then I remembered my pep talk earlier, and the nerves subsided. They sort of disappeared, and they just settled into the interview. So by the time I was leaving, I was so relaxed and happy and grateful that they had given me this opportunity, and I mentioned it in my closing words. A few days later, a second interview invitation comes through. I am surprised. I am shocked. I am excited. I'm looking at how the first interview experience was, and I felt like something was not adding up. This was getting serious, and I knew that there were aspects that had worked in my favor from the first interview, but I largely needed to improve if anything good was to come out of this second one. So I borrowed a suit from a friend. I called her my destiny helper. Bought extra pairs of stockings, just in case. And I called people to help with the body language. I needed to lay the posture right from the time I got into the premises. Poor posture, things that we just subconsciously do, like slouching or hunching, these things can come across as lack of confidence. So I needed to know how to control my eyes so I did not come across as a member of some, steering committee or a carrier of the wandering eye syndrome. You do not want to overwhelm your interviewers with overly intense eye contact that comes off as unnatural and even uncomfortable. Neither would you want to be darting your eyes, what I call the wandering eye syndrome, everywhere, to every part of the room except where you're supposed to be focusing, which is on the interview and on the interviewers and on the process, on the session at hand. So my eyes were rapidly blinking in the first session, and I knew that I also needed to work on this area. There was a need for me to know when and how to control my hands and arm movements, so that they were not all over the place, distracting the entire process. Tightening your hands into fists can be a sign of tension. Overusing your hand gestures, on the other hand, might still signal that nervous energy. So during my first interview, my hands were hidden under the table and they were shaking profusely. So I was more like this. So keeping your hands hidden can indicate insecurity. Though playing with pens, rings, your hair, all this exudes anxiety on your part. A few other signs that you might want to look out for are the placement and reaction of your feet and legs. Crossing and uncrossing your legs can signal restlessness, and if you find yourself engaging in repetitive movements like foot tapping, frequently changing your stance, your interviewers will be noticing that, and they'll be reading it as discomfort on your part or just pure overwhelm. So you might subconsciously find your palm cupping the elbow of the opposite arm or vice versa, or massaging the upper arm lightly, that case of hugging yourself or seeking comfort from the inside of you. Whatever you do, do not cross your arms, as this appears defensive or closed off. It's your body's way of going into that self-protection mode. You want to keep your hands as far away from your face and your neck as possible. Then, frequently touching your face, your neck, your hair, all this can be self-soothing gestures, but they still indicate anxiety. Then look out for your voice and breathing when you are nervous. And you'll notice that most of the time, your voice somehow becomes shaky and high-pitched when the nerves check. So the one thing you want is to just get all those words quickly and out of your way. So you may notice the rapid, shallow breaths, your body's way of communicating that you do not have control over your current situation. And the chest breathing is a fight or flight technique to just get you through that danger zone. This is a normal stress response, and it might come with you speaking faster than your usual pace as your voice projection decreases. And you might even find yourself pausing excessively, using filler words like, which shows hesitation and anxiety. Have you ever attempted to smile when you are anxious or nervous? There is an unnatural stiffness that comes with a forced smile, where your lips are stretched horizontally and forced into that straight line. It's only your mouth that is involved without the participation of your eyes. In a genuine smile, the eyes play a crucial role. That you see that your eyes will squint, forming the crossfit just around the corners. So if your eyes remain open, slightly vacant, no slight lifting of the eyebrows, there will be incongruence between your mouth and your eyes, and this indicates an element of fakeness, which is a fake smile. Other telltale signs of a genuine smile include the cheeks lifting naturally, creating a roundness that causes your eyes to narrow. These are things that you cannot do when you have a clenched jaw without seeming awkward and uncomfortable. A forced smile will not be symmetrical. Here you notice that one side of your mouth is slightly higher and more pronounced than the other side. So you'll also notice that it might last just a little bit longer than your natural smile, or fade too quickly because it's not natural. So if the smile feels cold, it is. If it feels mechanical, it is. Why? This boils down to the lack of warmth that comes with a genuine smile. So up until now, I just want to ask you, has your body language been actively working against you? And if yes, in what way? Just let me know in the comment section below, and I'd really, really love to read from you. You're probably asking yourself, I understand all this, but how do I manage this anxiety that is watering down my body language? I'm going to share with you the tricks and the tips that will help you to show up prepared, confident enough to secure that promotion. Starting with number 1, own it before you need it. The best time to prepare for any kind of interview is before it is advertised. You want to start acting like the position you want to occupy, and preparation is key. So, do you understand the inner workings of your organization? How about the requirements of the role that you are after? Are there any loose ends that might let you down should you be called for that interview today? These are the first areas that you want to address, and you want to address them squarely until you start feeling an element of ease checking in. Then number 2, you want to revisit your body language. So depending on your personality type, you might notice that you are really, really good with one aspect of your body language compared to the others. For example, maybe your eye contact game is really, really good, but you could be struggling with your posture. In this case, you want to sharpen your eye contact game to a perfect 10. Then you work and you commit yourself to consciously and constantly improving on these weaker links, which is now your posture, on a daily basis. If you need to read resources on the subject, do it. If you need guidance, get it. Whatever it is that you need to get better, this is the time to roll up your sleeves and just get on with it. And you'll notice that with time, it is going to start feeling natural, and an interview is not going to alter that feeling once it has taken root. Number 3, practice, practice, practice. The best way to prepare is through practice. So look inwards to find out what comes naturally to you and then use it to your advantage. We have this African proverb that says, tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Practice relaxing your facial muscles before smiling, even if it means in front of a mirror, so that you can get that natural expression going. You want to be constantly aware of your facial expressions, and then conduct practice and mock interviews as much as possible with someone who has more experience than you. The plan here is for you to become familiar with the format and the common questions that you may be asked. And this should be, I insist, with someone who has already walked that road and their opinion is unbiased and free of emotions like jealousy, envy. Then try and record yourself just to evaluate your body language and make any adjustments where necessary. And number 4, embrace authenticity. So you want your personality to just shine through your work such that it feels like your own fingerprint. Have you ever heard of phrases in your office like, Susan must have been at work today. Just look at how organized this office looks. Or, why don't we try doing it Juliet style? Because that means that there is a style that is authentic to Juliet. Another example, you could be a very fast reader and very, very good at accumulating knowledge. So this is going to help you with proper research and especially on the role that you want to occupy. Then couple this with open body language, and you will notice that you have something that is uniquely you. Give yourself permission to be natural in unnatural environments. And then number 5, work up your posture. So when it comes to posture, one size does not fit all. You want your posture to be in harmony with your persona. And you notice that when your posture improves, your confidence is going to increase, your self-esteem is going to rise, your productivity is going to be boosted, and your overall, you're going to be in a better mood. So endeavor to keep your arms uncrossed as a way of letting other people into your space. Resist the urge to touch your face when you are nervous. The farther away your hands are from your face, the better. And in conversations, watch out for your body. Let your body face the people that you are interacting with. When the moment arrives, your body will be facing the interviewer, and this will be coming off naturally. At number 6, be mindful of your gestures during regular conversations. You want to be conscious and deliberate with your hand gestures to emphasize and clarify your points. And the plan here is to be comfortable with your hand movements. Good time so that all the fidgeting that I was talking about earlier is minimized. Then you can practice keeping them still, resting them on your laps, or even on the table when you're having conversations until it feels natural. At number 7, remember your physical appearance matters. How you show up for the interview can make or break your chances of getting promoted, because human beings are visual beings. This is probably a good time to invest in that one outfit, that you're just going to feel so good in and comfortable and natural. And a good outfit, you'll notice, will boost your confidence. It will make you stand out, and it will reduce anxiety. Just ensure while at it that it has a good, the fitting is good so that it's not big or borrowed or unkempt. And then remove yourself from the equation. So when going before a panel, the interviewers are evaluating to see if you can fit the needs of a very particular role. Here, your active listening skills are going to come in handy when being addressed, so that your interviewers can feel like you are just as curious as they are of what is expected of you. So nod when necessary, maintain appropriate eye contact, engage them through questions so that you remain memorable at the end of the session. And you notice that interviewers focus on people who reduce their stress levels. Be that person without being robotic about it. And remember your pep talks, very important. Remind yourself that if others can be hired, so can you. If others deserve a better pay, so do you. So if they have what it takes, you have what it takes also to succeed. And this competition is between you and you. And then normalize taking low, deep breaths when nervous to release that tension. So with above tips, you can safely navigate your way through the chaos that accompanies interview preparations and work up the right energy to determine a favorable outcome from your interview. Did you find this video helpful? If you found it helpful in any way, shape, or form, kindly subscribe. Share it with anybody who might be interested in getting the body language tips that I have discussed. Okay? And now, having looked at the above, you also want to be very, very kind with yourself. Take baby steps on any area that you feel like you could be underperforming in. Body language is a very, very expansive topic, and I've only shared, the tip of the iceberg. So if you need a deeper approach to your personalized body language strategy, I'd be more than happy to guide you through the entire process. Simply fill a spot in the calendar link in the description box. I'm going to get in touch with you, and we are going to both discern if my services match your needs. And if they do, we'll just pick it up from there. Thank you very much for your company, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.